Hello, my name is Bailey Shaning and I am a freshman at the University of Arkansas. The artwork I am analyzing is The View of Mount Washington by Alfred Thompson Bricher. I saw this piece at Crystal Bridges in a traveling exhibit entitled Art and Architecture in Nature. Alfred Thompson Bricher was a painter from New Hampshire. His family moved from New Hampshire to Massachusetts in 1840, shortly after he was born. Bricher began to study art at the Lowell Institute, but he focused on light and how it impacted landscapes and seasides, becoming a talented luminist on his own time. Mount Washington was a very important mountain originally to the Native Americans living in the area. However, it soon became one of the first predominant areas of tourism as houses were built along the peak. To increase the accessibility for tourists, a railway and an auto road were built along the side of the 6,288-foot mountain. In The View of Mount Washington by Alfred Thompson Bricher, the painting displays an asymmetrical balance. The land on the left side of the painting is saturated in intense values of oranges and reds, while the right side balances the painting with lighter, airier yellows and dulled down hues used on the left side. It creates a sense of freedom from the oppressive air of the forest or society and brings one towards the excitement and delight of exploring and discovering new things or places. Initially, the depth created by the usage of the brighter values draws one's eyes directly to Mount Washington in the background, but the rocks and even the reflection on the body of water appear to be pointing towards the two people inside the boat. The piece seems to be portraying that the life happening around the mountain is almost a rarity, and while the normal beauty of the mountain is still present, it is not something new to those who live there. The best methodology to analyze this painting would be that of biography or autobiography. Bricher was able to travel back to his roots for this painting as his hometown of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, is only around 3 hours away from the location of Mount Washington itself, Sergeant's Purchase, New Hampshire. The Hudson River School, where Bricher also studied, developed many of its students into great proponents for the luminism styles, but there were three other focuses to the works and surrounding ideas of the teachings: discovery, exploration, and eventually settlement. Bricher's work does portray exploration and discovery. The light and mistiness of the air causes the viewer to believe that this scene is one from very early in the morning. Most, if not all, of Alfred Thompson Bricher's paintings were based around maritime seascapes or landscapes with a view of water. Bricher, being born in the East, focused mainly on the sights around him and the travels he would take to different states along the Atlantic coast. However, he was also enamored by light and how it could be used in various paintings, and this method he captured in his works well. The reflection of the sky on the body of water, as well as the leaves and the trees of the view of Mount Washington, display his focus on light perfectly. While the most obvious influence of Bricher's paintings would be the luminism style that he continued to practice and perfect throughout his career, the painting of the view of Mount Washington could also be classified in the ism category of French realism. Despite being based in the East Coast of the United States, Bricher's paintings have a similarity to many European artists during the same time period. Realism and naturalism are very related styles of art. Artists like Jean-François Millet and Rosa Bonheur pose as good examples of the French realism style. While all three paintings are realistic, Bonheur's and Millet's paintings have the most natural schemes of color. The backgrounds of each painting are hazy and less focused than the people, animals, or in Bricher's case, the trees of the foreground. However, each work is in great detail and allows one to hone in on the tiny aspects, the leaves of the trees, the blades of grass, or stalks of wheat, despite the haziness of the atmosphere. I chose this piece of artwork due to its interesting composition. Some of the other pieces shown were darker or more focused on human beings, but the view of Mount Washington created a nice perspective of how great nature is compared to humanity. The work was different than many of the other pieces in the exhibit, mostly due to its color scheme. The pastel yellows and oranges alongside the dark reds and browns drew my eye to the piece immediately. As I continued to look at the artwork, I noticed how Bricher used the light to create variability between leaves on the trees. He utilized reflections and other aspects of light to add depth to the water and further into the woods. The focus of how light would shine through the trees in different ways created an atmosphere of a hazy glow like in autumn. The dimmed colors of the water and persisting through the background reminded me of the mist that springs up in the valleys, or specifically above a body of water. While the balance of the artwork is what drew me in initially, the mood and atmosphere radiated from the piece entranced me into wanting to analyze and look into it more. And these are my sources. Thank you for watching!